Students and teachers, we are about 10 minutes out, so let's just double check, make sure we're in the right order. Mr. Hayes and I will be coming around shortly to just double check on the names.
Testing. What? Hey, is my collar down? Yep. Is this mic live, Peter? Peter, is this mic live?
Check, check.
I just want to take the opportunity to convey our appreciation to the musicians who entertained us this evening. Many of them are members of the music department here, so for them taking their time out, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you. You all set, Mark? Peter, good? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Darren Doan, the principal of the Dartmouth Middle School. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our middle school's 52nd graduation ceremony. It's been quite a journey for all of us, but also especially our soon-to-be graduates. I was thinking this evening, it's been a year and 4 months where we were given the call that students couldn't return back to school. And I really reflected upon just how our soon-to-be graduates really stepped up to the plate. I mean, the number of changes that they had to encounter, first remote, and then we transitioned to the live streaming, and then hybrid model, then full in-person, and things just continually changed, a lot of moving parts, and their ability to adapt and persevere are lessons that I have note they will carry with them on their next journey at high school and thereafter. So I do appreciate, and students, I wish things would have been different in regards to your end-of-the-year 8th grade experience, but please know that we are very proud of you and excited to see you embark on the next phase of your journey. At this time, I would ask you to please join me in saluting our nation's flag. If we could please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now Ms. Heather Church and Mr. Michael Daniels from our music department will perform the national anthem. Thank you so much. And again, a big thank you to our music department for performing this evening and sharing their talents with us. Before we begin this evening's ceremony, I'd like to recognize some people who, in addition to our teachers, have been of special assistance to us and our educational community throughout the school year. Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Bonnie Gifford, Assistant Superintendent of Schools, Mr. James Kiley, Chairperson of the School Committee, Dr. Shannon Jenkins, Vice Chairperson of the School Committee, Mrs. Mary Waite, and School Committee members, Mrs. Kathleen Amaral, Mr. Christopher Oliver, and Mr. John Nunes. We do greatly appreciate your support, specifically in the middle of the many challenges that we encountered this year, so thank you. Another special thank you goes out to Officer Dave Tavaz, our School Resource Officer of the Dartmouth Police Department. His dedication and concern for our students and their well-being is evident on a day-to-day basis, and we greatly appreciate him being part of our school community. So, Officer T. I'd like to also recognize our parent organization as well as our school council members for their support, and again, especially through this past year and a half, their counsel, we valued their opinion, and their just general concern for the well-being of our students and staff was never-ending and greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. I also want to acknowledge the hard work of our secretaries, Mrs. Costa, Mrs. Rafferty, Mrs. Phillips, and Mrs. Ashton. They always go above and beyond, and they've worked extremely hard to put this evening together, so thank you so much. At this time, I would like to introduce Associate Principal Mrs. Sarah Dekas and Assistant Principals Mr. Peter Rossi and Mr. Marquez, as well as Mrs. Allison Cato Galligan, your child's 8th grade guidance counselor, who, again, this evening will support this process, as well as Mr. Sullivan and Mrs. Masari, our other guidance counselors who, again, have supported your children throughout the course of their experience at the middle school and greatly appreciated, as well as Mrs. Mary Waite, Vice Chairperson of the School Committee, who are addressing the graduates. I just want to also take this opportunity to thank you, parents, guardians, family members, for your support. I've been doing this for quite a long time, and every year I think I've seen it all, and all of a sudden something happens. And your kindness, your flexibility in the midst of even all of the parking and pickups and mask wearing and just all the different changes, you've been a great role model to your children, and you've been a valuable asset to us, and again, you've been very, very supportive. So I just want to convey on behalf of the Dartmouth Middle School how much we really greatly appreciate your genuine support and concern, again, for the well-being of all of our students as well as staff as well. So thank you so very much. There are 4 individuals that I would like to mention this evening who are ending their teaching careers at the Dartmouth Middle School: Mrs. Margaret Zammit, Ms. Carolyn Wingate, Mrs. Karen McDade, and Mrs. Jane Quinn. They have had a long and distinguished careers and have touched the lives of many Dartmouth children. We wish them the very best of health and happiness in their retirement years ahead. Each year we recognize students who have received the following awards. Kind of due to the pandemic, we had to adjust some things, and we realized the guidelines had changed, and so it's wonderful to see so many people without masks, and I'm very grateful to the weather gods for having a wonderful evening with the sun, etc. But so your child was presented with a bag that has their awards and diplomas, etc. So when we call their name, they can stand and be recognized, but those belongings, those items are in their bags. The first award this evening is the Dartmouth Police Athletic Award. It's presented to students who exhibit outstanding citizenship. The names of the recipients are as follows. So again, when I call your name, you can please stand and be recognized. So again, this year's outstanding citizenship throughout the year goes to Sierra Aruda, Aiden Buck, Caleb Chow, Catherine Cheesebro, Olivia Crane, Christian Furtado, Jackson Hart, Audrey Kircher, Gabriela Montez, Luke Nelson, Aiden Pereira, Raya Perry, Alden Pragnara, and Ilana Rimtowitz. Congratulations to this year's recipients of the Dartmouth Police Athletic League Award. All set, thank you. Our next award is the Dartmouth Middle School Teachers Award, which is given to graduates for outstanding effort. And the recipients of this year are Adiana Andrade, Aubrey Butler, Catherine Keniff, Jaden Claudio, Nathan Cox, Ella Friedman, Nathan Goncalo, Alice Granicki, Frank Maniglia, Aiden O'Gara, Tricia Ruffley, Alyssa Silva, Mia Soares, and Victory Soares. Again, congratulations, Victoria Soares, and congratulations to this year's recipients of the Middle School Teachers Award. The next award is the Principal's Rare Award. It is presented to students selected by their 8th grade teachers as pupils who best exemplify by their day-to-day actions the traits we value at the middle school: respect, accountability, responsibility, and self-esteem. The following are recipients of this year's Dartmouth Principal's Rare Award: Remy Barber, Zachary Benoit, Emma Carvalho, Ryan Church, Christian Cordero, Sean Diaruda, James Fonseca, Jack Gardner, Emma Gidley, Grace Hughes, Colin Leary, Emily Matos, Jade O'Neill, Sydney Plouffe, Thomas Quinn, Tia Rad, Kendall Reth, Jenna Rock, Jordan Rosenberg, Cameron Santos, Summer Stevens, Catherine Sullivan, Katie Sylvia, Mia Torres, Heather Vasconcelos, Stephen Wee, Sophia Wentworth, and Jade Winters. Again, congratulations to this year's recipient of the Middle School Principal's Rare Award. The next award we have this evening is the Mildred D. Berkowitz Award, and I would kindly ask Mrs. Kathy Souza Potts to come up and share a few words and also convey to the recipients of this award. Thank you.
Good evening. Mrs. Mildred D. Berkowitz was an English language arts teacher at Dartmouth Middle School. When she passed away, her daughter set up an endowment which enables us to give this award each year. Mrs. Berkowitz was known as a true lover of the printed and spoken word, and she was dedicated to passing this love of literacy on to her students. This legacy continues at Dartmouth Middle School today with the Mildred D. Berkowitz Award, which is given to students who have displayed a love of literature and reading. I am truly honored and very pleased to present the following students with the 2021 Dartmouth Middle School Mildred D. Berkowitz Award. Recipients, please stand. Your award is in your bag. Amaya Aguiar. Zachary Amaral. Ada Arbain. Whitney Berger. Colby Edgecombe. Jacob Grieve. Kaylee Hamilton. Kaylee King. Kaylin Medeiros. Natalie Murphy. Ashley Pacheco. Gianna Pacheco. Ellie Peterson. Aiden Santos. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Sousa Ponce. Our next award this evening is the President's Education Award, made available by the United States Department of Education and the National Association of Secondary Principals. It is presented to those students who have earned a final numerical average of 90 or higher in each academic subject in each of the past 3 years. I would ask that Mrs. Dekas, our Associate Principal, present the award this evening.
Good evening. I'm going to first read a letter from the President, Joseph R. Biden. Congratulations on receiving the 2021 President's Education Award. America is a country where we are one and unite through tough times. You are the future leaders of this great nation, and through your determination and resilience to push forward, you have reached this ultimate accomplishment of being recognized for this prestigious award. Dr. Biden and I are pleased to congratulate you on receiving the 2021 President's Education Award. We are honored to join your family, friends, school, and community in celebrating your wonderful achievement. Jill and I send our best wishes and blessings. Keep challenging yourself and be kind. Joseph R. Biden. This is awarded to each student who has a final average grade of A or A- in each academic subject for the 3 years they have attended the Dartmouth Middle School. You can stand when you hear your name. Zachary Amaral, Sierra Aruda, Remy Barber, Zachary Benoit, Whitney Berger, Juliana Boa, Catherine Caniff, Emma Carvalho, Ava Casara, Christian Cordero, Olivia Crane, Tyler Ferreira, Charlotte French, Kaylee Hamilton, Levi Harrison, Jenna Hayes, Mohammed Hajazi, Audrey Kircher, Colin Leary, Sydney Leary, Natalie Murphy, Sarah Oswald, Ashley Pacheco, Sydney Pluff, Thomas Quinn, Jenna Rock, Jordan Rosenberg, Alana Rimzowitz, Aiden Santos, Summer Stevens, Catherine Sullivan, Marion Sylvia, Mia Torres, Heather Vasconcelos, and Stephen Way. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Dekas. Our final award is the Karen A. Martian Award. It seeks to memorialize a former middle school guidance counselor who passed away in March in 2005. I will now call upon Mrs. Diane Massari, middle school guidance counselor, to present the award. Mrs. Massari.
Good evening. Karen Marchand was a guidance counselor at Dartmouth Middle School for many years. As a mother, wife, friend, and counselor, she really was pure gentleness and patience. A tireless advocate for students, she was always ready to listen and help others, despite her own health challenges. Simply put, Karen Marchand was amazing. This award is awarded to a student who personifies Karen's spirit of caring, commitment, and perseverance. Teachers admired the student's quiet, loving presence, who quickly showed leadership qualities, not from commanding, but by being her optimistic, compassionate self. If Karen Marchand had met this student, they would have instantly hit it off. The same loving spirit exists in them both. An amazing student, an amazing person from an amazing family, amazing grace. How sweet the sound. We are honored to present this year's Karen Marchand Award to Grace Hughes. Congratulations, Grace. Tonight, we would like to award another member of the Dartmouth Middle School learning community. Karen Marchand spent her career helping others. She had an uncanny ability to make you feel as if you were the most important person in the planet. Like Karen, this helping professional's compassion and dedication to improving the lives of others is legendary. Day after day, her selfless, empathetic acts embody Tom Carlyle's belief that everywhere in life, the true question is not what we gain, but what we do. She has 2 signs on her office door. First sign, this is my happy place. Second, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Above her desk is another quote, "You are my sunshine." Allison Cato Galligan, you are our sunshine. We are honored to present the Karen Marchand Award to Mrs. Cato Galligan, 8th grade counselor, to this outstanding class.
Mrs. Cato Gallen was about to cry. I said, please no. I have to hang strong for at least a few more minutes. But congratulations to both Ms. Hughes and Ms. Cato Galligan. I would like now to introduce Mrs. Mary Waite, the Vice Chairperson of the Dartmouth School Committee, who will be addressing this year's graduates. Mrs. Waite.
Thank you. So I'd first like to take a moment before I begin my message to the 8th grade class to remember the people we have lost over the past 16 months, as well as the other pain and loss we have as a community experienced. Now to the DMS class of 2021. It is so great to see your smiles. Can we all give a round of applause? When our governor closed the schools last March, we had no idea how long the pandemic would last, maybe a week or two, and how long it would be before we would see your smiles again. Little did we know then how deeply and drastically and for how long our lives would change, that we wouldn't be able to see friends, our loved ones, how it would affect our families, how sad, lonely, and bored we would feel at points along the way. We didn't know when we would make it through to the other side, when life would be normal again. Let's face it, this year was, and last year at the end, wacky. You were home with just enrichment, then virtual, then hybrid, then full in-person virtual, then hybrid synchronous with your buddies online, then full in-person. And just as we are approaching the finish line, the middle school kitchen catches on fire, and you're home again. And yet, through all of these incredible challenges, you, the Dartmouth 8th grade class of 2021, didn't just do okay. Every day you turned on those computers, fought through faulty internets, wrestled Chromebooks, you did burpees for gym class in your living room, had drum class from your bedrooms, you put on masks and hugged the hallways single file, you went to lunch in classrooms somewhere in the school or in a tent because that's where we could put you. You rolled with it. You rode your bikes all over town because that was the one thing you could do. You took photos of beauty in the middle of a pandemic. Some of you marched for racial equality or wrote articles about pride for Big Green News. If you couldn't talk to your friends in person, you talked to them online. You put on your mask for sports, for clubs, you waved to your loved ones through windows, put up signs with hearts to spread hope. You pitched in to clean up the beach and dressed up as superheroes to cheer up little kids. You spent too much time with some people and not nearly enough with others. Maybe you became an expert on Ross and Rachel's relationship, or could quote Dwight Schrute by heart. Perhaps you played what your parents say are way too many video games, but you got through this year. Listen to me, Dartmouth middle schoolers. In the hardest year many of us have experienced, you didn't just do okay. You were resilient, you were strong, and you were positive. And you made your teachers, this community, and your parents so very proud. And now, as you are at the end of middle school, the pandemic is also ending. Thanks to science, we have vaccines. Many of you have gotten at least one shot or are fully vaccinated. People are taking off their masks. We are seeing friends and the people we love again, and even hugging. It is weird and yet amazing. You may be ready to jump out there to make up for the past 16 months, or you may not be ready or feeling completely okay, and that's okay too. Now what? Where do we go from here? I have to start by thinking back to my first experience in the middle school. The first time years ago I sat in middle school orientation with a room full of other 6th grade parents and heard your principal, Mr. Dones, speak. He said, and I paraphrase, if at the end of your child's middle school years they can look in a mirror and like themselves, then we've done our job. With all of the challenges the pandemic gave us, we know that it has left marks on all of us that will be with us for our entire lives. We can carry the lessons of this year's pandemic with us to help be those people who are able to look in the mirror and like ourselves if we take the last 15 months to remind us of what's important. And so, What are those lessons? First, we are resilient and we can do hard things. We know that you missed out on a lot these past 15 months. Dances, clubs, sports, friendships. We also know that learning online is simply not the same as being in a classroom with your teachers. For many of you, paying attention and getting through this year was incredibly frustrating and incredibly hard. You are here now, though. You did it. The fact that you made it here shows how strong and incredibly resilient you can be. Next year, whether you go to Dartmouth High, Stang, Voc, Bristol Aggie, or elsewhere, when the next challenge that feels overwhelming comes along, you can remember that by putting one foot in front of the other, that you will get to the other side. We can do hard things. You already have. Secondly, relationships are important. People, we need each other to be happy. We miss each other. We miss our families, our friends. No computer screen equals a teacher walking around a classroom smiling at you or a grandparent giving you a hug. No one in any life, whether you're in middle school, high school, an adult, or a grandparent, no matter how perfect they seem from the outside, always feels good or always feels happy. And when we're going through sad and tough times, we can't always get through them alone, and we shouldn't try. This year was especially hard for many of us. I know that even as we are taking masks off, some of you are still having a tough time. Please talk to the adults you trust, family, a teacher. You are important. You are always our students, part of our community. We want you to hold up that mirror and like who you are. It isn't always easy to get there. Ask for help. Finally, believe in optimism and science and working together. We are here because science works. Smart people with a purpose came together to come up with a vaccine. In less than a year, they were successful. It's kind of amazing. And while we waited, creative and positive people made the best out of hard situations. They held church services outside. They had drive-by birthday parades, outdoor seating for restaurants. We learned to work from home. We learned words like Zoom and Google Meet. We visited with Grandma and Grandpa online who are over 1,000 miles away. We are able to solve problems and come up with temporary solutions because we were positive, creative, and working together. It wasn't perfect, but it helped us stay afloat until science gave us a vaccine. You who are sitting in front of us possess great gifts. We have watched you in the past few years, during and even before the pandemic, getting involved in saving endangered species and cleaning our planet, walking for social justice, advocating for all people to enjoy equal rights, volunteering at soup kitchens and gifts to give, expressing yourselves through the written word, art, music, and adding so much beauty to our world. You care as a class about each other in this world, and you're starting to realize that your voices can and should be heard. You are already displaying leadership and creativity. This is good because your generation has some very big problems to tackle, saving the planet and making our world better for the billions of people who live here. The only way you're going to be able to do this is if your generation agrees to work together, trust your intelligence, creativity, believes in science, and uses all of your tremendous talents. When you at some point look in the mirror and wonder if you and your classmates can do these tasks, when maybe you're sure it can't be done, I hope you turn back to these past 16 months and see not just despair, but accomplishment. I feel confident that you are our next greatest generation, and that going through these 15 months have prepared you more than any, or 16 months, more than any other to succeed. But now we have the summer, and I hope that you go out and have so much fun.
Thank you, Mrs. Waite. At this time, we would like to acknowledge those 8th grade students who are receiving their diplomas. 8th grade students, please know that the bag you received this evening contains all of your graduation items. At this time, I'd like to introduce Assistant Principal, Mr. Rossi.
Good evening. I'll be reading off the names tonight, starting with Mrs. Pelik's homeroom. Zachary Amaral. Adiana Andrade. Aiden Andre. Ada Arbane. Sierra Aruda. Dominic Barnhart, Nathan Bickett, Caleb Shavs, Valerie Iman, Angela Kinney, Jada Coomer, Sydney Leary, Mrs. Jorgensen's homeroom, Jaden Claudio, Navaya Conward Johnson, Jaciel Cruz Gonzalez, Brody De Silva, Nathan Faria, Charlotte French, Levi Harrison, Audrey Kircher, Tiago Lamero, Gretchen Letton, JJ Ortiz, Devin Rodriguez. Mrs. Tebow's homeroom, Caden Agnew, Jet Carbone, Colby Carrero, Nathan Cox, Asael Cruz Gonzalez, Bryce Desiree, Tyler Ferreira, Ella Houlihan, Brandon Tevz, Carly Vitorino. Mrs. Montero's homeroom, Samantha Carrero, Christian Cordero, Jared Correa, Nathan Correa, Avery Kudo, Riley De Silva, Josh Dory, Corey Ferreira, Gavin Forbes, Jacob Grieve, Colin Kelly, Mr. Bernardo's homeroom, Juliana Boya, Aiden Buck, Emma Carvalho, Catherine Cheesebro, Ryan Church, Jaden DeMello, Kaylee Galina, Jacob Grew, Grace Hughes, Matthew George, Sophia Litos. Mr. Fennessy's homeroom, Nicholas Boucher, Landon Cardoza, Colby Edgecombe, Niall Fogarty, Ava Foran, Christian Furtado, Aria Ganwani, Jack Gardner, Peter Herlihy, Adriana Hijazi. Our virtual students, Isabella Appleyard, Aidan Dolan, Nathaniel Furtado, Victoria Gonzalez, and Jackson Rule. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Hayes. He's going to take us the rest of the way.
Mrs. Giles' homeroom, Elijah Amarante, Owen Andrade, Samuel Arvise, Hunter Augusto, Alexis Benjamin, Aubrey Butler, Bridget Connolly, Nora Connolly, Jason Diaz, Savannah Duarte, Nadia Franco, Luz Furtado, Daniel Howiak, and Alexandra Pimento. Mrs. Zamet's homeroom, Talon Afonso, Remy Barber, Zachary Benoit, Whitney Berger, Leona Borland, Joseph Shadid, Jonas Chen, Logan Edwards, James Fonseca, Nathan Gauthier, Jalen Holmes, Brooklyn Jones, and William Jordan. Miss Keene's homeroom, Adrian Acosta, Ava Casera, Sarah Daggett, Delaney DeMello, Antonia Ferreira, and Andrew Keenan. Mr. Braggart's homeroom, Will Gibson, Jake Gidley, Sophia Gonzalez, Morgan Gonzalez, Asher Guerrero, Jackson Hart, Tamron Hayes, Michael Hudson, and Carlos Geronimo. Mrs. Pettingill's homeroom, Brooke Adam, Logan Bachman, Luke Braga, Catherine Caniff, Aiden Carrero, Brooke Costa, Sydney Costa, Aiden Cruz, and Luke Medeiros. Mr. McDonald's homeroom, Amaya Aguiar, Lathan Ambrose, Carter Bates, Jacob Blatchford, Landon Borges, Jenna Brown, Sean Diaruda, Kaylee Hamilton, and Colin Leary. Mrs. Sousa Ponce's homeroom, Nora Burke, Olivia Crane, Logan Desmaris, Aubrey D'Souza, Benjamin Dupras, Charlie Fernandez, Ella Friedman, Nicholas Hashem, and Mohammed Hijazi. Mrs. Hellstrom's homeroom, LaRoya Gaspar, Emma Gidley, Adam Gomes, Josephine Gonzalez, Aaron Goulart, Avery Halstead, Rafaela Hathaway, Kobe Howell, Alex Krinicki, Mason Langlois, and Brendan Livesey.
Well, graduates, on behalf of all of Dartmouth's educational community who have worked with you throughout your years in the Dartmouth schools, we congratulate you on your accomplishments and wish you the very best for a successful future. Students, you are now officially the class of 2025. Have a great summer vacation. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Parents, if you'd like to come down the field to take pictures, you're more than welcome to do so.